Good morning. Oh, let me get everything going here. Good morning. Good morning. All right, give me just a minute to get this pulled up on my phone. And as you get here, make sure that you say hello and let me know that you're here. All right. Ah. All right, so we've got everything set. Let me have a sip of my coffee. I was hearing some noises. Good morning, Wendy. Missed you yesterday. I had already decided if you didn't show up today, I was going to have to call and make sure that you were okay. Just know that when you're not here, you are missed. Good morning, Janet. All right, beautiful. Glad to have you here this morning. And so I will say yesterday it was I was driving home from an appointment, and the thought of this affirmation came to my mind. So I actually had to take car for oil change. Oh yes, I feel you. I feel you. Mine was going to be due pretty soon. The but the thing was yesterday as I was driving home from this appointment, this affirmation came to my mind, and I had to pull over and get my phone out and log it into my notes. And I was going to ask Siri to do. Ah, hold on a second. That's funny. All of a sudden, my listen to the replay. Oh, good, good, good. Good morning, Carrie. But like I said, I pulled over on the side of the road and put this affirmation in there, and so I'm really. It meant a lot. I don't know why it came to me, but it's like I really wanted to share. I swear, I keep hearing this odd sound, and I have no idea where it's coming from because my daughter's supposedly already gone to work, but I will check it soon. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this affirmation. Good morning, Laura. So you were sick too? Oh my gosh. I swear I was out for a week. I was just laid out. I even shared in the group a picture of me sacked out on the sofa because I was freezing to death every day. I had an ice pack on my head because I had a headache and all the covers and everything. And then the dog was laying there cuddling with me. So my daughter so lovingly took that picture, and I thought, oh my gosh, I'll never share that picture with anybody. And doggone if I didn't. Oh goodness. All right. So yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. It's been a long time since I felt that bad for that many days in a row for sure. All right, so I'm gonna grab this. And thank you so much for that card. I don't know if you got my message, but I so appreciate it. And I didn't even open it right away because I got it in the mail while I was feeling so bad. So I just kind of laid it to the side and said, I'll read it later. All right. So the affirmation today is I give myself permission to be my best authentic self. So just think about that. I give myself permission to be my best authentic self. Doesn't that feel good to think of? You know, a lot of times we don't give ourselves permission to be authentic because we feel like we're supposed to be putting on a certain amount of airs. We're supposed to, if we're in business, we're supposed to be looking like this. We're supposed to be acting like this. And I will say I suffer from some of that because, you know, I'm part of the the cosmetology salon industry, right? The beauty industry. And it's funny when I think back on it. When I first started working in the salon, I was like working as an assistant and everything. And I was only in my early 20s. What the hell is that sound? It's bizarre. Um, but I was in my early 20s. I really didn't wear makeup other than a little bit of mascara at the time. And I remember my mom was the owner of the salon, and there was a lot of stylists and everything. And my mom sat me down and she said, Vicky, she said, you've got a lot of natural beauty there and everything, but we're part of the beauty industry. And so you have to show up looking like this every day. You've got to have your makeup on, you got to have your hair done. Don't come in without being completely put together. You don't do it once you get here. She gave me the spiel and everything. And so from that day on, I was wearing full on makeup. Right. And so that's the industry that I've grown up in and grown older in. Right. And there was a time that I would not even step out my door to go to the mailbox if I didn't have my makeup on. And I certainly would not go to a store. I would not do anything like that because it was preached into me. Well, what if you run into one of your clients and you look like shit? Right? Oh man, that's also so relatable. I had a similar feedback conditioning in my industry too. Yeah, yeah. And and so I still have a hard time, especially as I've gotten older. I don't know what that's about, but um of look I have this thing of I don't want to look my age, right? Now, even though I don't use filters, I don't use them at all because to me, I don't want to have this filter that makes me look a certain way. And then when I go and look in the mirror, I don't. That to me would be the most heart-wrenching thing that I could ever do. And I don't understand some of these people that do this makeup that changes them so much that you do not recognize them at all. And I think, how can you look yourself in the mirror and be happy with who you are if that's all you're ever doing, right? I'm going to get off my soapbox real quick because I don't have a lot of time for this today. But so I still have a touch of a hard time getting on here with you guys. Like when I was sick and I didn't feel good, there was one day I showed up without makeup and it was like I apologized for it because it doesn't feel like me because I don't really go without makeup anymore. And I don't use a whole bunch of I don't use the contours and all that different stuff. Right. So I even had somebody one time that I said something, and this has been a few years ago, about not having any makeup on. And one of my friends was wanting to go somewhere. And I said, but I haven't even got my makeup on yet. She said, well, I can't tell the difference. So let's go. And, and it was like, okay, that makes me feel like I don't ever look good. It's this mental thing, right? That I still work through. And like I said, as I get older, I get this thing about like I have this stuff here drives me bonkers, right? And and so but I will not do all of the Botox and all that stuff. I'm not going there, right? I don't know the repercussions of all the stuff later on in life and how it affects you, and not going to do it. So I'm going to show up as my most authentic self. I give myself permission to do that. And if that means sometimes I come on without makeup, so be it. If that means that I show up with all my makeup, fine, right? As long as I'm being my most authentic self. And sometimes that means speaking as your authentic self too, not only your physical being authentic. I'm sorry, there's just such an odd sound. I cannot figure what it is. I may have to get off a little bit early so I can go check this out before I start working with clients. So let me go ahead and grab the journal prompt, and I'm going to warn you. Let me see. I'm going to have to cut this in half because I was definitely on a roll this morning when I was putting all this stuff together. All right. The journal prompt. Imagine you have a genuineness gauge that lights up when you're being your true self. In which situations does it glow brightest, and how does your heart feel in those moments? Good morning, Kimmy. Because to me, when you're being authentic, you lead with your heart, right? When you can be who you are and be glad and proud and speaking, right? Using your authentic voice. Just imagine, ooh, magical prompt, thank you. Imagine you have this genuineness gauge. Good morning, Lynn. And every time you are so genuine, there's this glow that starts happening around you when you're being your true self. In which situations does it glow the brightest? I mean, think about it. When are you being so genuine and so heart-centered that other people can feel it and see it, right? Because they can. People will gravitate to you most when you're being your authentic self. You'll be able to express yourself in a different way when you're authentic. When things are rehearsed, when things are calculated, made up, that's when you show up as, well, they've got airs about them a little bit, or maybe I don't know that they're being true. Maybe something feels off, right? But when you're being authentic, man, it's like you feel so engaged and so light, right? When you're sharing. And when you're not being authentic, it feels like a chore. So now think about business, right? Where could you crank up your authenticity dial to an 11? So right now, maybe you're at a 7. Let's go to an 11, right? And let your heart lead the way. So I like to do this this visual with a lot of my clients where we're changing our thermostat a little bit, right? So let's just think for just a moment that you have this authenticity, genuineness gauge, this thermostat, right? And you've got it set wherever it's set, 5, 7, maybe it's a 10. I don't know. Only you know. But just in your imagination, change that dial just a little. Take it up to an 11 to where your heart leads the way. You show up as your best authentic self. And that means you show up every day with makeup. It doesn't matter. If it means you show up every day dressed a certain way, it doesn't matter. Be you. The thing is that sometimes when I'm doing that, I'm being a version of me. It doesn't necessarily mean I'm being me, because I was taught, like I said, that you show up dressed this way, you show up with your face this way. And I wore heels to work in the hair salon because I thought that looked best. Was I as tired as shit when I got off work and hardly able to walk? Yeah, but I did it. I don't do that anymore because I'm not going to do that to me. So touch your dial up. Go on up to an 11. Heck, if you really feel the surge to be bright, go on up to a 12, right? You get to choose how authentic and how heart-centered you are. Doesn't matter what other people say. Doesn't matter. You get to choose. So what awesome things might happen if you did that? If you turn the dial up just a little bit. For me, makeup is lipstick. I can't leave the house without it. I was miserable when we had to wear a mask. I know, I know. And the one thing I said when all those masks were going on was, well, I was saving money on lipstick because I learned really quick that wearing lipstick with a mask just meant the mask had a lot of lipstick in it. Uh, but I feel you. So let me ask, what awesome things might happen today if you showed up as your true, authentic, genuine self? And I'm telling you, it's going to feel so delicious to show up that way. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I'm hoping they're doing it something at somebody else's house, but it sounds bizarre. So I don't know. All right. So I'm excited to see what trajectory this puts you on. Let me see what's going on over here. So just remember, we get to choose how we show up and who we are, right? Let's go back to the affirmation. I give myself permission to be my best authentic self. So now you definitely have permission to be you, to do you, and however that looks, right? So put that on your index card, your sticky note, your screensaver on your phone, put it on the mirror with a chalk marker, wherever it is that you need to put that, so that you are reminded that you have given yourself permission to be your best authentic self, whatever that looks like for you, right? And then our journal prompt, imagine you have a genuineness gauge that lights up when you're being your true self. Authenticity was an issue for me when I was working. Yeah, it can be for a lot of people because, well, let's face it, we wear masks for wherever we are. Not literal mask, but mask nonetheless. It's like we have hats we put on, we have faces that we put on that we feel like we're supposed to be wearing for whoever we're around in the situation. And that was the reason I started my podcast, because I had done that my whole life, right? My boss just didn't understand the authentic me. Well, it's not celebrated too much in the corporate world because they really want to have a lot of followers. They want people that follow and do whatever they say. And people that are being authentic are not as easily controlled. And it really upsets the apple cart. So, the only way you really get to expand and go up the ladder is if you follow the exact thing that they want you to do, right? Which is usually inauthentic to who we are. But like I said, that's why I started my podcast, because, oh my gosh, I had done that for so long, wore different hats, the different mask for every area of my life. And I finally said, I am so tired of this. I want to just be able to talk and be me. Where can I do that? And that's when I decided I wanted to start a podcast. And thank goodness, right at that time is when I started Stacy's Start Your Podcast Challenge. And, I've never looked back. It has been the catalyst that opened me up to be my authentic self. All right. So, like I said, I'm going to cut this a little bit short because I've got to go and figure out what this noise is that's going on, because I'm about to start my day in the salon, and I need to know what the heck's going on. So, with your journal prompt, make sure you're putting your it in your journal or your notebook. And actually, since school supplies are on sale right now, I stopped by yesterday and got me a couple of new notebooks to start adding things into. So take advantage of that right now. But take your journal prompt, put the date at the top, put the affirmation in the journal prompt, and then remember, just take some time in silence to get into your authentic self and just imagine, go deep into your imagination and see what shows up for you. You'll be really surprised, and you're going to be so grateful in a month, 2 months, 3 months when you look back and you say, oh my gosh. Right? So, okay, I have got to go figure out what this noise is. So you have, okay, Wendy, what's our leaving statement for today? And I will post my extra notes about this journal prompt and everything in the description once I go investigate this noise. All right. So today, get your genuineness gauge shining light. Have a joyfully authentic day. Yes, yes. Have a great day. Be safe. Hope that noise is not bad. Me too. It sounds like somebody is drilling into the house, is what it sounds like. So I don't know. It's odd. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see you guys tomorrow at 9. And just a quick reminder, today is Wednesday, right? So tomorrow night is when Sue's going to be a guest and for the event of the fireside chat. So definitely make sure that you're registered to be on that. And I can't wait to see you guys there. But I will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And I would love for you to share a little bit about how this magical genuineness gauge shows up for you. And make sure you're going to crank it up just a touch, remember? And be even more genuine today than you have been in a long time. And I will see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Mwah.